So, welcome everyone. I'm Laurie Cameron. I'm a meditation teacher and author and leader of a company that brings contemplative wisdom to the workplace and to universities. And I'm really delighted to be a teacher here at the Center for Mindful Living. And these are indeed very challenging times. We're in a series this month, November 2024, of exploring weekly how the Dharma can deepen our capacity, expand our capacity to navigate difficult times, challenging times, difficult emotions. And last week, Hugh Byrne explored really the first noble truth and the fact of suffering. And this week, I'm going to explore how self-compassion can actually be a really powerful way for us to fortify ourselves, and how the truth of suffering and freedom from suffering can really support us in these times. So I look forward to spending this time with you and welcome your comments and questions as we go. I invite you now to bring attention into the body, and to do that, you might even fully expand, just stretching the arms, twisting a bit to the right and left, just bringing attention into the body. We are embodied creatures. We live in the body. The body is the experiencer of life. So as we enter into stillness, into bringing awareness inward, we really want to first start with awareness of the body. So feeling the feet on the floor, I'm noticing my hands touching my knees, just feeling the body. You might close your eyes if you like, or just gaze softly at the floor. And as my teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, has taught us, we use the bell, this beautiful bell, and this inviter as a way to aid us in coming home to ourselves. So as I invite the bell, you can listen to the sound all the way to the end. That's a way of gathering attention around a single point of focus in that sound, just listening to the sound all the way to the end. And then as you get to the end, you can bend that attention around to the heart center, to the body, to the life that's right here. So I wake up the bell and then invite. So bringing attention into the body, into the life that's right here, by feeling the body breathe. Feeling the rise and fall of the abdomen, the lungs expanding, the inhale and the exhale. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. Gathering attention, bringing it to a single point of focus. The breath. If focusing on the breath is not comfortable for you, you can choose any anchor of attention. You might feel the feet contacting the floor. You might put a hand on the forearm of the other. Just feel that contact. You choose. Resting attention, concentrating the mind, calming the nervous system. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. In, here, out, now. Allowing the body to settle and calm. Bringing awareness to the top of the head. Noticing any tingling or sensations or temperature, or nothing at all, just bringing awareness there. Just moving awareness like the beam of a theater stage light. Feeling the body, sensing what's here. Moving down to the top of the head, the forehead. Moving to the eyes. Bringing a tender, loving awareness to the eyes. Oh, my eyes have been so tired this week. Just noticing how they're feeling this morning. Is there any tension in the little muscles around the eyes? Are they dry? Or are they fine? What's here? Just simply noticing. Moving awareness and attention to the nose. What's the quality of breathing this morning? Are you congested? Is it free and clear? Moist? Dry? We begin close in. Awareness of our own body. What's it like to be you this morning, breathing? This nose, this mouth, bringing awareness to the mouth, lips, tongue. relaxing the tongue. Noticing the cheekbones, the face. You may even bring the hand to the side of the face if that feels good to you or easy. And even if it doesn't, you may try it. What is it like to feel that contact, that tender gesture? Noticing the jaw, softening the jaw. You may even touch that jawbone that gets so clenched tight. See if you can bring in care and attention to this jaw right now. Loosening the jaw, softening. Letting your body know that you are okay in this moment. Noticing the throat. Is it tight or relaxed? Is it free? Are you able to speak up or do you feel silenced? Are you an authentic expression of your deepest light? Or are you performing or feeling caged? Just noticing the throat. Are you able to sing? Or maybe the throat feels very quiet these days. Moving attention to the shoulders. Softening the shoulders, letting them fall a bit. While maintaining an upright posture if you're sitting. The spine alert but not stiff. Can you soften the shoulders? Can you relax them? Let them hang even. Allowing the jaw to relax and hang, the shoulders. You might even make an audible exhale here. Bringing awareness and kind attention to this body, to this life. Moving down to the heart area, noticing the rise and fall of the lungs. How's the breath in this moment? Is it deep? Is it shallow? Is it slow or rapid? we practice noticing the somatic signals rising from this life, this body, telling us, slow down, dear one. Breathing is fast and shallow. Stop, pause, breathe. Feeling this body breathe, feeling the lungs expand, rise and fall. We bring attention now to the heart. Can you discern the heartbeat in this moment? It may be that it's so quiet. Or maybe you can feel it beating there for you. Experiment with raising the corners of your mouth into a slight smile. Can you smile to the heart, as Thich Nhat Hanh invites us to do? Just gently smiling. Can you send that smile inward? Just noticing any physiological sensations when you smile to yourself. Maybe it's a smile of gratitude that you got yourself to Sunday morning class, or that you show up for yourself this way, for your Sangha, or maybe just for being alive. Just taking a moment to smile inwardly. Moving in even deeper here in the heart space. Taking a deep breath in, a deep exhale, and asking, where does it hurt? Scanning your life right now. Inviting and allowing any suffering you may be experiencing, fear, anxiety, unworthiness, disillusionment, anger. Just invite it to come out. These are the guests of your life. We open the door and welcome them in. You can scan the body for sensations of unease, a feeling of nauseousness in the stomach. There could be a fluttering in the body. Could be a tightness in the hands. You might think of a situation this week, a situation that was so activating or triggering for you, where the body just went into a hijack. Maybe thoughts were spinning, heart racing, hands sweaty. So many indicators. For me, it was Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. when I woke up and went to CNN. It was a full body response. I actually had a stomach ache and had to go back to bed with a stomach ache. Just stepping into whatever the scene is for you this week. Might have been that, might have been something with a child or loved one, something at work. Just stepping right in and pressing pause on that moment. And then rewinding your life a little bit from that moment to just before whatever that hard moment was. For me, waking up, or morning light coming in just barely. And then seeing the news of the day. So, whatever it is for you, just the rewind, the press play, stepping in, and then feeling the body. And as you do, we do the first step of self compassion, which is mindful awareness, naming, recognizing the suffering. Wow, this is hard. Using words or a mantra, whatever's natural for you. This is hard. Oh, this hurts. No way. Feeling the body, recognizing the full body response. Sensations in the torso, the abdomen, the heart, the lungs, the hands, face. Taking a deep breath in as we resource ourselves, find our footing. Gently softening a bit, expanding with the breath. Resting back just a bit into that field of loving awareness that can hold it all. Wow, this is so hard. This is extremely tough. We surf here a bit. We ride the waves. We allow, recognize and allow. And then we remember that we're not alone, that this is part of being human. 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows. And we recognize our shared common humanity. Maybe even putting a hand on the heart, pressing down a bit, breathing in and out. I am not alone, we say, using the slogan, I'm not the only one suffering this way in this moment. And whether it's a broken leg or a divorce or results of political election, you are not alone. I am not alone. This is part of being human. Other people are in this with me. This is our shared, common human experience. So we expand, we remember the truth of interconnection. And rest here for a moment with the breath. Practice using your own name here, sending kind and loving words inward. Laurie, I've got you. You're not alone. This is really hard. And now we move into step 3. Really bending that beam of compassion that's so used to being sent outward. We bend it around as we've been practicing with the body. And just fill our own heart with that directed, loving compassion. Sweetheart, what do you need right now? We attend and befriend. Bringing the 2 wings of mindful awareness and loving compassion to this life that's right here. Seeing clearly what's here. Saying yes. Yes, this too. Right now, it's like this, dear one. Noticing any resistance, the mind kicking in, saying, you woulda, you shoulda, you coulda. You didn't see, you didn't understand. You didn't do this, you didn't do that. Making space for any resistance to self-compassion, widening and including that too. Including that. Seeing it, seeing that part of you. It's just a part. Saying, okay, you're welcome here too, resistor. Loving all parts of ourselves. Breathing here. And now allowing ourselves in this practice, in this making space for everything that's here and what's arising, imagining the wider field of love around us. Love is always loving us. So we relax back just a bit into that truth. Can you be held? You holding yourself, what hurts, the suffering, the dukkha, bringing compassion to the life that's right here, and you allowing yourself to be held, to be loved. It might be helpful to invite in an image of a spiritual leader, teacher, the Buddha, Mother Mary, Jesus, Thich Nhat Hanh, and imagine they're holding you. You can even rock a little bit. Yeah, this is a hard week. I got you, little one. Softening. What does it feel like to melt a little bit, allowing yourself to be held? And in this practice, I always invite my grandmother's hand to lay on top of mine, feeling her love pouring through me, softening my heart, allowing love to pour through. Strong back, soft front, allowing love into the life that's right here, fortifying ourselves. Taking a deep breath in. Feeling the inhale and the exhale. Feeling the circle that we are sitting in, the circle of Sangha, shoulder to shoulder, putting one hand on the back of the person next to you, just sending love right in, sending and receiving. We do this together. We move like a river. Resting on the breath, feeling the feet. May you know that you are loved, and may you be loving. I'll invite the bell. You can follow the sound back to our shared space. Slowly opening the eyes. Stretching. You might even stand if you like to. That was a lot of practice there. I'm going to do a little march. Sorry for the weird close-up, but yeah, just massaging the legs, the knees, the hands. Let me open the chat. So just checking in with yourself, just scanning your own experience right now, having brought attention to each part of the body, practice breathing, expanding, practice opening up, allowing whatever's here to arise. Practicing self-compassion. recognizing, allowing, naming. This is hard. Moving into seeing our shared humanity, our common experience, we're not alone, and then bringing loving kindness to whatever is arising, to what's here. And then even deepening that by relaxing back into loving the loving field of source energy, of God, of light, Mother Earth, allowing ourselves to be held in that. And then I always, my self-compassion, non-negotiable is bringing my grandmother's hand in. I just call on her and bring her right in. So we practice. Let me see what's here. I'm just scanning. Great. So I'm so glad we're all here together on this Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, or depending on where you are, really early morning. We're exploring this month as a teaching team what we learn from the Dharma, the teachings, the universal truth, and how these teachings of the Dharma, we have the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We are here as the Sangha, as community. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches us to go like a river. We move together, not alone. So we're in Sangha. And then we access that Buddha nature, that Christ consciousness, that radiant light that is in all of us. That's the Buddha. And we pull in the teachings, the contemplative wisdom, the truths, and we find wisdom there. And that's the Dharma. And what we know, what the Dharma teaches us, particularly in the Four Noble Truths, is that there is suffering. And there are sources and causes of suffering, and there is relief. There's a way to let go of suffering. And there's a way to cultivate a life where we practice the skills, we practice the ways of living, we practice the mindsets. All of these things are the practice. We practice those so that we can be in whatever life brings us. And that's what we're doing now. And one of those things, there's so many beautiful teachings, but one of those things is the practice of self-compassion. And I want to share a few things about self-compassion. I want to bring in the beautiful research and work of two of my teachers, Dr. Kristen Neff and Dr. Christopher Germer. I wrote a book called The Power of Self-Compassion. It's on Audible. And I drew a lot from these wonderful two. And Chris Germer just released a new book. So you can go look for that. I don't even have it yet. I think it's Self-Compassion for Burnout, which I'm sure a lot of people that were active in the election process are feeling a little burned out right now. They might go get that. But I'm going to bring in the teachings there. And one of the things is that Chris teaches is that we have to be able to open to our pain. And mindfulness, mindful awareness, the practice, the path of the Dharma and the Buddha teach us how to do that. First of all, by naming it. I know I grew up in a home where our primary practice was denial. We were super good and trained to not name what's hard. In fact, I think one of the mantras I grew up with was, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And we weren't supposed to complain or say this hurts or any of it. In fact, when I was 16, I was a junior in high school, and it was a Saturday morning. I had my cheerleading uniform on. Of course, I was a cheerleader because I was living out, cheer, 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 optimist, optimist, go, go, go. And I was getting ready to go to the high school to a football game. And I was at the kitchen table with my mother and father, and my dad got up and walked into his den. And I went in there for some reason to talk to him. And he put his hand on his chest and he said, rapid heartbeat. And then he had a massive heart attack at 44 years old and did not recover. And that experience of being with him in that moment was absolutely life-changing for me. And one of the things that came out of that was really the capacity to see what's happening and to realize that life is really short and we need to learn how to navigate and be there for ourselves and for each other. And that was a hard lesson to learn because in my family, we didn't talk about what's hard. So when my dad died, it was just my brother and I still at home. He was 14. We didn't really talk about that afterwards. We went back to school and back to practice and back to Sunday morning Sunday school, but we never really talked about losing dad. And I didn't learn the first step of self-compassion. I didn't learn till later that we need to be able to feel our pain. And Dr. Kristen Neff calls that step 1. She calls it recognition, mindfulness, naming it, just saying, wow, whoa, this is hard. And we know from Michelle McDonald's practice RAIN that dear Tara Brach made very popular. The first steps of RAIN are recognize and allow. So that's the first part of self-compassion. We're bringing in mindful awareness and naming it. And if we just practice that, maybe we take Monday, Tuesday this week to just practice naming things. Wow, that was hard. Or let's do the whole thing. Wow, that was beautiful. Naming all of it. I'm going to notice beauty. I'm going to notice tenderness and compassion. I'm going to feel awe. I'm going to feel suffering and pain. I'm going to feel shame. I'm going to just notice it all. I'm going to start to feel. I'm going to wake up from suppression, denial, and avoidance and feel. So step 1 is mindfulness. Wow, this is hard. Christopher Gammer and Kristen Neff have us use a mantra. This is not a silent practice. We're saying, we're naming it, using words. Wow. They also teach us to use touch. So physical touch releases oxytocin, serotonin. We can unlock our own pharmacy here. Because we know when we feel emotional pain and suffering, the science tells us it has the same impact on the body as if we kicked a rock and hurt our foot, or if we, have some type of ailment. The physical pain of illness and accidents and injury is equal in the body to heartbreak, to grief, to suffering a loss. So that is incredible news, incredible science on that. So we need to feel it. And we need to tap into the power of our own body to heal, to process. And so we touch. I invited you in the practice to touch your heart. That's what I learned from Krista and from Tara. And that's what I do. almost without even thinking about it now throughout the day, actually. So life doesn't stop giving us hard things. And we need the tools. That's the practice of fourth noble truth. There is a path. So the second step is I put my hand on my heart right there. I feel it. And then I broaden perspective, zooming out from this life. I'm not escaping. I'm not denying. I'm just saying, you are not the only one. And this is particularly helpful when we have a failure or when we blame ourselves. In the aftermath of this election, I've talked to many folks, many of whom are saying, God, if only I really understood where my fellow citizens are, if only I really understood what people are believing or what people care about, if only I paid more attention, if only I knocked on more doors, if only I put that yard sign out. And so we can really easily go into blame and shame. You might pause here and think about what was your inner critic saying to you this week? Or if you were working with a different situation in the practice, maybe your relationship is, on shaky legs, or maybe you're estranged from somebody that you care about, or maybe you hurt somebody, or maybe you blew it at work and just did not get that project in on Friday. It's going to be late again, messed up again. Like what does the voice in the head do? And that we catch that mindful awareness. That tape is playing. Jack Kornfield says we each have a soundtrack of our top 10 playlist. Like your playlist on your phone or at home. What's on your, I think probably when you started teaching that, there was probably like our self-made CDs, but what's on your playlist? What's your story? And then we pause that with that second step in common humanity, and we say, oh, okay. So Christopher Gammer teaches us, can we be kind to ourselves because we are suffering? And one way we do that is realize we're not alone. This is part of being human. We're going to mess up. We're not going to see clearly. We're going to deny. We're going to be, reacting out of our old trauma. We're going to be building up fantasy and expectation, and then, all that. It's part of being human. We're not alone. And then step 3 is bringing that self-compassion to the heart. Just bringing that love, if you can, to the life that's right here. We practice that, but a lot gets in the way. This is not an easy practice for many people, particularly those in the West. You might put in the chat or reflect on what's getting in the way of self-compassion for yourself. What is it? There are many barriers. There are many barriers. One is we have to be able to see ourselves suffering. We have to be able to have enough mindful awareness to see that, oh my gosh, I'm really in pain. A lot of people that I work with, I'm an executive coach, their automatic reaction is to get really busy. Once the pain comes up, man, they kick into action. Another person I was coaching this week says that they go into this overdrive of exercising, and they're exercising on the surface to be healthy, but what she said was, I'm really escaping my feelings. And she actually injured herself and went into an orthopedist this week, and he said, you need to rest, you can't exercise. And she said, well, can I just take walks in the woods? I need to do something. And he said, short walks, okay, take it very slowly. He left the room. He came back in. He looked at her and he said, I see you. I see you. You are me. We share this common experience. You are moving, moving, moving to escape, feeling and holding the pain that's coming up in your life. He said, your job right now is to slow down and go inside. From the orthopedist. I should get his name and number and share it with all of us. The Dharma teacher in the doctor's office. He told her to slow down and go inside and feel what's here. And that's what we're doing with self-compassion. We're treating ourselves as we would a friend. We're allowing ourselves to recognize what's here and hold it and realize we're not alone. So Christopher Gammer says the prerequisites for self-compassion is the ability to feel and see the suffering. And then, secondly, to see our kinship with one another. This is Thich Nhat Hanh's Sangha. This is the Buddha Sangha. To see that we're in this together, we have a shared human experience, and that we can practice. One of the reasons that people avoid self-compassion, there's kind of things on the surface, right? We're too busy, we don't slow down, we overwork, we over Netflix, we over consume, we over retail therapy shop, we do all the things, right? I'm not going to feel this, but I'm going to go out here and do all this. You know, we have people that over help. Like, let me figure out what you need without looking at what's right here. So there's lots of things we do, but there's a big block on the inside, and one of those is the sense that if I go in and open up to what's here and bring in tenderness and kindness, I'm afraid of what's going to come up. Like, what if like overwhelming shame comes up, or what if, you know, so much sadness or grief that I've been suppressing and pushing away. I am not opening that Pandora's box. So you can take your self-compassion and hit the road, because I'm doing just fine. And they're just tight and contracted and in pain and suffering and isolated. So this fear, this idea that like if we bring a loving attention to what's here, and we're the fear of what might come up, that is called by these researchers backdraft. So self-compassion can have this thing called backdraft, where I'm going to open up and all this is going to come out. So we learn to titrate that. We don't just go in and say, all right, I'm going to feel it all and give myself some love. We bring wisdom to it. The practice of the Buddha, the practice of the Dharma, is about cultivating wisdom, mindful awareness with wisdom, skillful action. So you might imagine 3 concentric circles, and in the center is safety. And then in the next circle is challenge. And in the widest circle is overwhelm. So when we stay in safety, I'm going to keep myself really safe, and I'm not going to feel anything, and I'm not going to get too close to other people. I'm not going to like open up that box and feel what's going on right here. I'm going to stay kind of in the safe lane. That's okay for a little bit, but we don't grow when we stay in safety. We don't expand. We don't evolve on the spiritual path. So we want to move into challenge a little bit. We want to say, can I get still? Can I name the suffering that's right here? Can I open that grief door? Can I feel the despair that's arising? So now we're in challenge. And here we practice, we bring self-compassion, we heal. We have to feel it to heal it. In safety, we're not feeling it. In challenge, we're feeling it. We feel it to heal it, so we're feeling it. And then perhaps the backdraft comes in. Not only this thing, but all the stuff starts waving in. Then we're in overwhelm. So when we're in overwhelm, we come back down to challenge, even to safety. How do we do that? Mindfulness helps us do that. It helps us witness when we move into overwhelm, and it helps us have the tools to find stability. We can anchor attention. We know how to do that. We practice that with mindful breathing. I'm going to bring attention away from all that and into my feet. I'm going to feel my feet. I'm going to feel the breath right here. I'm going to look at something beautiful in the room. I'm going to look at my golden retriever, and I will share that view. There he is. Looking at an animal, looking at a tree out the window, or if you're outside, that's anchoring. So we come back down to safety. We breathe. We tend and befriend. And then we can go back and feel again. So this is the advanced self-compassion. I want to move us into some movement. I'm just going to see if there's anything that I want to share. We really look at, with self-compassion, our capacity to be with ourselves, with mindfulness, with loving awareness, with acceptance. And then bringing in this notion that we're in a shared community, this being human, that this being human is a guest house, that we're not alone in the suffering, and that we can deepen, we can bring in the caring compassion. We hold what is here in loving awareness, in a compassionate way. That is the medicine. You have the medicine. The practice is the medicine, the fourth noble truth. So when we're working with those concentric circles, we're either leaning in or we're leaning back in the challenge. We might be leaning back into it, or we're letting go when it's overwhelming. So that's kind of an underneath skill in self-compassion, is knowing how to lean into what hurts, knowing how to rest back into loving awareness, to be held, and then knowing when we need to let go and just rest in the love. Take a walk outside in nature, go for a swim. So I encourage you this week to notice when it hurts, to pause, to stop, to shift to connection. Step 1, mindfulness. Step 2, common humanity. I'm not alone. Step 3, bringing in love, attending and befriending, feeling yourself held, bringing in the grandmother's hand. Those are the 3 core steps of the practice. And this is how we navigate those difficult moments and these larger periods of time that we've all been through before as humans. We will go through again in the future. But as Thich Nhat Hanh says, peace within, peace in oneself, peace in the world. We begin right here. Thank you for being here for this Sunday morning Sangha, the practice together, sharing the teachings.